Hello and welcome to Round 2 Front 9 action from the Jackson Park Showdown at Jackson Park in Hendersonville, North Carolina, presented by AVL Disc Golf. On catch cam today we have Tommy Patterson. Drone footage courtesy of Nate Johnson. Your commentary team is Owen and Will Hickerson. On the card today we have Bryan from Hendersonville, North Carolina. Brocaille, also from Hendersonville, North Carolina. Hartford Berley from Taylor, South Carolina. Strutton from Easley, South Carolina. And Tony Malone from Fletcher, North Carolina. Hole 1 is par 3, 369 feet, and there's two big parts to it. First, you have to get out of this gap. And second of all, you have to miss all the obstacles in the way, like the light post and these two big trees. If you're successful with that, you're going to end up right by the basket.
All right, welcome back, everybody. We got round 2 of the Jackson Park Showdown starting up. Bryan has the lead after a bogey-free 8 down in round 1. Just going with that smooth forehand off the tee, but it looks like it's starting to fade on him.
Yeah, that's a safe shot. You know, he's got a 2-stroke lead. He's probably just thinking, don't lose it right here on the first hole. Let me get out there, let me get safe, and let me move on.
And that's exactly what he's done there. Caleb looking to gain some ground after a 6-down first round.
Yeah, I think everyone else on this card, the other 4, probably all have the exact opposite thinking coming into this. I need to get strokes, and I need to get them as quick as possible. We got 18 holes left to go.
Caleb swinging that hyzer in there. Looks like he might caught a bit of the tree. We'll see if he pushed through.
I think he caught that tree and kicked down. It'll be an easy up and down 3 for him, but won't be a problem.
And we saw Hartford in round 1 go for that hyzer line as well. And he has not changed the game plan.
He's going to get around that fine. We didn't have catch cam coverage on this hole 1, but Hartford's going to get down there and he's going to have a putt just fine.
And new to the card, Strutton.
Yeah, Strutton, shout out. He's got his own YouTube channel, the Disc Golf Pastor out there. Go give him a follow and a subscription and check some of his videos out, and we'll see him playing today, second round.
And he was also a hole sponsor for the tournament, so thank you, Taylor, for that. And last but not least, we got Tony Malone, Team AVL, on the card here. Tony's another master age player, hanging with these young guys.
He's also thrown that backhand hyzer, looks well thrown.
Oh yeah, that's clean.
We'll see where he's at when we get down there.
See if it swung back enough.
Here's Hartford. Looks like he got caught up in that tree early. Should be an easy up and down out here in the open. It looks like he's reaching for that zone he's been throwing this weekend.
Yep. Drops it down. Probably wanted to be a little closer, but he's in the circle.
Caleb also a little short. Probably got caught up in that tree. Just looking up and down. Maybe a little long there.
And Tony, similar thing. That tree just catches a lot of those backhand shots. But he's right there under the basket for his par.
Bryan and he's got a long look here for his 2. Maybe giving it a little bid.
Nah, just lays it up there. Made it look like a bid, but smooth layup. And yeah, Taylor gets to be on coverage for probably the first time in a tournament setting for him.
Yeah, maybe a little different feeling. Films himself all the time on his YouTube channel, but taking a little bite out of his own book, I guess, and getting filmed by somebody else. So it might be a little bit of a different feeling.
Yeah, definitely a change up for him. Lots of par putts coming in here. Not a whole lot of action on hole 1.
Tony's just going to try to tap in his par here and move along.
Yep, just getting the round going with clean putts.
Yeah, they all did a good job on this hole of going out wide or making it through the gap, and so No big numbers for anybody here on this hole. They're all going to take their threes and move on.
Yeah, for the lead card, you don't expect much worse than a par here.
On to hole 2, par 4, 504 feet. First shot, you just want anywhere out here in this field. Really setting up an important second shot to cross over this pond and try to get it close to this yellow basket for a good putt. So important to keep it in the fairway and then set yourself up for that second shot.
Bryan in a similar spot to last round. He knows that spot well. Got up and down from there just fine.
Releasing a little bit of air coming off the tee pad. Maybe that lunch before round 2 coming back up around for him. Maybe lightening him up a little bit for that second shot. A good shot from Caleb out there in the open. Should set up a good angle for the second shot.
Yeah, so far both of those guys are in position. See if Hartford could do the same, or maybe push it a little farther, give himself an even easier look at it.
Yeah, same thing. Hartford getting that disc out there in the fairway, no problem.
Good looking shot from Taylor there. You could hear him take that breath, settle himself before that one.
Yeah, nice overstable disc. He knew that disc was only going one place, and that's right where it landed. There's nothing else it was gonna do. Tony Malone, little tight inside left, but he'll have a fine look. I mean, it's pretty tough to not have an angle at this as long as you're in that short grass.
Oh, Bryan's fading out a little, but he's on dry land.
Ooh, that was
cutting
close.
it a little close.
Short's the only mistake you don't want to make here.
Yeah, you've got that backstop there with the fence. If you go long, it gives you a kind of tricky putt coming back, but yeah, short leaves you a long, long ways from the basket.
All of them coming in kind of right at the bank so far. I mean, it makes for a good next putt, but you don't want to chance it on that short side.
Getting a little more height on this one, Caleb, and he is parked for the birdie. And Tony with the best looking drive of the group.
Wow. He's going to have a little half swing here.
Yes, sometimes that can actually be a problem, just being in between distances, but Tony executes it perfectly.
We got a putt off here. Everybody clean across with birdie looks.
Little tailwind. Oof. Not quite the release he wanted there.
Oh, Taylor.
Yeah, and you can hear a little background noise there. That is the drums from a Pride festival in the field that borders this hole. They were out there having a good time with that.
Maybe a little bit of distraction for this putting green. Maybe got to a couple of them on this shorter putt. A couple of them cleaning up the birdies, though, no problem. Bryan and Taylor probably definitely wanting those putts back, though. Inside the circle, made it across clean. Played the rest of the hole fine.
Yeah, and Bryan plays here enough. He knows more than 9 out of 10 times he's birdieing that hole. So that's a disappointing one to drop there. Right, hole 3, par 3, 336, and it's an uphill pull. You got OB on the tennis courts to the left, and if you really launch one, parking lot long, but that shouldn't come into play with this pin position. Swinging in nicely. A little short from Caleb, but he'll have a putt at it.
Hartford probably going to try to throw a little flippy here so that it flips up the hill, pierces towards the basket. He's got that Mario Star Power disc in his hand. He's been throwing a lot this weekend.
Yeah, that one has been working for him, and it looks like it's working again. It's coming up a little short. It really does take a good amount of power to get up there. It says 336, but it plays a lot longer.
Tony trying to rip one out there, see if he can get in putting range. Looks like the furthest drive so far. He'll have a decent look at the basket.
Yeah, it looked to be about pin high there.
It's me, right? Yeah, Brian. Good shout out for Brian Freeze too. He's got his own YouTube channel going up. Look him up, Brian Freeze Style Disc Golf. Speaking of, see more shots like that maybe over on his YouTube channel. That was a great shot up on this 336. Probably plays like more like 360.
Yeah, it came out of the gates a little slow the first two. That's a good way to get the rounds started for real right there. Taylor ripping on one, but leaves it out a bit wide. He's got a long, kind of scary look with that drop off behind it here.
Oh,
gives it a great bid, just barely short.
A great bid. Hartford's going to try to
Step
get
putt.
a good bid.
Oof. Caleb here from about circle's edge. A little farther with that stepper.
Need a little bit more height to the step, and he had it. Tony pin high.
Oof, lots of metal hits, lots of long bids. Hartford left a little on it with that comebacker.
Just make sure everybody clean up their pars.
Yeah, starting to get the putter going.
And Bryan, here he is. There's his drive, finally. And there's the two, casual birdie.
Just picking up a stroke on the card when you already have the lead. It's a great feeling.
Yeah, he's going to extend that out, give him a little bit of breathing room now. Give him 2 over Caleb.
Yeah, restoring his original lead over Caleb there.
Hole 4, par 3, we're getting into the woods, 264 feet. Initial gap to hit between these trees here. You want something fading right. See a lot of backhand straight to turnover shots or forehand flip up.
Oh, and you could just tell with the way that one came out of his hand, had a little wobble, not what he usually wants there.
Yeah, I definitely think you'd rather, on the forehand here, you want the flip up to hit the gap. You don't want to try and flex something. It's not a wide enough fairway for that in most cases.
Yeah, there's definitely not enough room there unless you're getting lucky through the trees.
There's more like what you want. Stay clean.
That's a great looking shot right there and checks up perfectly.
Caleb putting a little bit of pressure on Bryan, trying to chase him down. He saw Bryan hit an early tree and said, I'm going to put this one next to the basket. I'm going to get that stroke, and I'm coming for you.
He is definitely taking advantage there. Ooh, and this one, that's a similar miss he had in round 1 there.
Yeah, just inside. Thinking a little too much about turning it. I think backhand, you almost just want to think about throwing this straight.
Yeah, it's a little deceptive. The basket's really not as far right as most people think, but it is a blind shot. Tony throwing that smooth backhand turnover. He's got the putt there just inside the circle.
Maybe a little too much turn and a little low from Taylor, but
Yeah.
he hit the initial gap and had the right idea going there.
Yeah, Taylor's still just kind of waiting to get his round started here. Bunch of pars on the first 3 holes, and looks like another one probably coming up.
Hartford hitting a tree in the fairway on his second shot.
Oh, that's going to leave him a tough job for saving par there. Freeze gets up, and he's got to putt back up the hill at it. And yeah, Taylor just laying it up softly.
Yeah, he wanted no part in that 2-run. It definitely slopes behind this basket. Hartford, same thing. He said, I'm just going to...
It's conceding the bogey there.
Yeah.
That's tough.
Tony with a birdie look and nails it.
He's off to a hot start.
Yeah, that's what you want. He's putting himself back in the mix, getting himself in the conversation.
Yeah, 2 of the first 4 holes, and that's a good putt coming back from Bryan there.
Yeah, a good comeback putt from Bryan. You're bleeding a stroke to a couple of them here, but don't bleed more than you have to, and make that comeback par putt and move on.
Yeah.
And Caleb with a just great, perfect drive there next to that tree. Easy
Just how
birdie
you draw
putt.
it up. Taylor taps in his par.
Hartford's gonna tap in his bogey.
Yeah,
Hope
that's a
to
tough
bounce
one.
back on the next few.
Holes just has number this week. Hole 5, par 3, 378. It's a challenging downhill, kind of sweeping hyzer shot. Lots of trees to miss at the end of the flight, and a few to beat at the beginning, too. Caleb's taking the box here after that great shot on 4.
Yeah, this one played as the 3rd hardest hole on the course during round 2, so you can see some big numbers happen here and some difficulty.
Oh, but no issues there.
Yeah, not from
Caleb's up
Caleb
there
though.
with the look.
Really like Tony's swing that he's got. If you'll watch, he uses that off hand, that left hand, really to swing his momentum correctly. Watch it, it swings back and forward. He has a really good job about pulling that momentum and using that to his advantage.
Gets it a little left there, but he doesn't seem like he's tucked too deep in the woods. Should have a chance to get up and down.
Bryan, maybe the fastest player I've seen in some of these tournaments. Takes no time. He knows what he's doing.
Just like it's a day of disc golf with the buddies, any other round.
He caught one of those middle trees, but he's going to be pretty much halfway down the fairway. He'll have some sort of shot up and down to the basket.
Ooh, pulled just a bit there from Taylor. That's going to leave him in a tough spot more than likely. And Hartford here trying to bounce back after the bogey.
Pulled that one right a little bit.
And he looks to be possibly on the red tee pad there. So at least good footing. And a great line to the basket.
What a shot from Hartford. I mean, that's not an easy shot from there. I mean, I know he was a little off the tee, but he was maybe 80, 100 feet off of the original tee and then just laced the rest of the fairway. So Taylor's kind of pitching out. He might have a long look from there for par, but he may be conceding a bogey here.
Ooh, just lined up that tree.
Owen Bryan with the lead by 1 over Caleb. That's not it's not what you want to be doing. So
No, we could be looking at either a tie or a lead swing right here. If Caleb can sink his putt. Unless Bryan does something crazy right now. He just goes a little deep, but he's got that putt.
Oh yeah, that's no problem. That's well inside the circle still. That's a good up and down. Don't bleed too much more than you have to.
Tony with a good soft touch on it. Have it sit down there on that side slope.
Caleb trying to make a run for the top of the leaderboard. Little off on the putt, but he'll be just fine with the 3. He's still getting a stroke. Taylor just a little right on that putt.
Bryan missing the comebacker.
Bryan's going to be leaking a few here. Back to Caleb. Maybe had a little bit of brush in his swing of his putt. And doors are opening up.
That's a good save there.
Yeah, that's more like the Hartford we've seen on coverage. Ooh. Little left side, but no pictures on the scorecard. That's a par for Caleb.
Yeah, unfortunately everyone got to see it here though. No pictures, but plenty of film of this one.
Bryan with the double bogey, gonna leak a couple of strokes back and make this interesting.
Double bogey after going bogey free in round 1. That's gotta hurt a bit.
We've got a caddy sighting over on the right side. Ben Howard out on the bag for Taylor Strutton. Also got his own YouTube channel, Ben Howard Disc Golf, so go check him out. So we're walking over to hole 6, par 4, 405 feet. Really a placement shot. We saw Bryan break this hole down really well last round. You want one shot somewhere in this fairway, and then trying to get a second shot to find either this hyzer gap that the drone's flying through, or maybe a sneaky gap over to the left.
Caleb here going for the turnover off the tee. It's really all about hitting that initial gap and then just sitting it down anywhere in the fairway here. He's a little right side, might have a little more in his way on that line.
He got some pretty good forward progress, so he won't be too upset with that. He'll have some options.
Owen. Oh, just...
Where is that disc going? It left, right, left, up, down?
Yeah, he had ripped on that one. Caught a branch, kicked left, started rolling right, sat down on the right side of the fairway though.
This disc was in a blender about midway through the fairway there. Hartford in looking to try and bounce back from a couple of mistakes. Throws a really great drive, and that is
well on up there.
That should be an easy little pitch there. As long as he hits his gap he's looking for. Speaking of bouncing back, Bryan, maybe a little distraction off the tee pad there.
Yeah.
Maybe a drive from the other hole coming in. Maybe a shank from the next one over near here. Maybe a squirrel running by.
You can definitely hear chains from the hole before or any kind of tree hit. Oh, Taylor, just a little late release on a few holes here.
Yeah, hopefully
getting him into trouble.
Hopefully he can make an adjustment. I think the last hole he kind of missed it a little right too. He's going to take his medicine here and just pitch back to the fairway and give himself a chance at trying to get up and down for par here.
Yeah, still being out though, throwing your third is not where you want to be.
Keep turning and stay clean.
He's going to have a long look for par.
Yeah, that's most likely a bogey from Taylor Strutton there.
Yeah, and this green can get tricky with running some of the long looks. There's quite the drop-off behind it.
And Bryan, maybe a little sarcastic celebration from hitting that tree there. He's keeping the spirits high, though.
That sounds on brand for him.
Oh, scaring the catch cam a little bit. That'll be a decent putt and a look at the basket.
That's the second time today he's scared the catch cam. And Tony with a nice shot.
A nice little
Good putt
turnover
coming
there.
up for birdie.
Here's Hartford after his amazing drive he had. Sit close to the basket. Yeah.
Oh, yeah. That's the advantage of getting farther up that hill. Just has a little touch shot into the green. Oof. Decent bid from down there. Should have stayed pretty close.
Bryan, not too much effort on that long birdie look. He's probably just fine to go up there and tap in his par.
Ooh. Chain out there from Caleb.
Just a little off.
That was a
really
chance to
close.
extend the lead for him there.
Tony trying to stay in the mix.
Oh,
Great putt. A good birdie. He's
Gets
going
it
to put him
go.
right back in it.
Some par cleanups for Bryan and Caleb here. And Hartford with this left for birdie.
And with Hartford and Tony both taking birdies here, we're going to have 4 players within 2 strokes of the lead here on lead card. Still 2/3 of the course to go. It's a battle.
Hole 7, par 3, 459. Coming in, I'm sure, as one of the harder holes on the course. You've got 2 options: push it straight and fade hard, or take the pure line, which is a gently left turning shot.
Yeah, you mentioned one of the harder holes on the course. This came in 4th hardest for round 2.
Yeah, it gives players a lot of trouble, especially if they get early kicks. Tony progresses pretty far up there. Doesn't seem to be in too bad of a spot.
Main thing here, you want to get a clean shot, at least get through that first couple of gaps. There's that star power disc again. Hartford's been throwing that. It's probably 50% of the holes out here. And for
That's
good
a
reason.
Beautiful shot with it. Yeah, he's throwing it well.
There's that fist bump. He knew it too. He knew it was great. Caleb a little inside there.
Yeah, that's going to make it a tough save for him there. That was a fairly early tree.
Hanging his head there, he knows every hole is important coming down the stretch here. How tight all these scores are and with how many people are in contention.
And Bryan plays a safe forehand. Got away from him a little there, but he'll have the opportunity to save par from up there.
And Bryan wanting really no part in a birdie on this hole. He's playing this as if it were a par 4, kind of slicing it up and wants to take his 3.
It's definitely a smart way to play it. Really not dropping strokes to many players at all by taking a par here. Gaining strokes more than likely on the field.
A great shot from Taylor there. He's probably within circle 2 with some sort of look at the basket from down there.
Yeah, Taylor could really use that to get his round going. And yeah, Caleb Throwing first and throwing again now. Still out.
Yeah, really needs to get this one close.
It's good height on it. Brings in softly. Wow. Good recovery there. That'll be for bogey, but that's probably best case scenario after that drive.
Agreed. Yeah, I think 4 was his best shot after the tee.
Well, Tony found a little more trouble than I thought off that tee shot, but wow, what a scramble.
Yeah, he got in the woods, he looked up, found somewhere, and went for it.
Oh, catches the tree, but that's...
Yeah, luckily enough of a forward kick. He's still got to putt at that.
Yes.
Hartford's going to try to just pitch up and down.
The jump putt approach is a nice thing to have on this hole.
Okay, Taylor's maybe a little further than I thought. Maybe just outside circle 2, but still a long bid at it.
Yeah, tough bid there, but it's a good one to just get your par and get off the hole.
Bryan, to save a par, drains it.
Needed that. Wow, what a great putt.
Oh, every stroke counts right now. Hole 7 of the final round, and that's a great par from Bryan Freese.
Good putt there for Caleb for bogey. That putt was to put us at a 3-way tie at the top there, so Tony's going to drop one here to the 2 leaders. Good par there from Taylor.
Yeah, really not a hole you're upset with the 3 on at all. You're pretty happy with the 3. That's probably most of their game plans as a 3 coming into this.
And good cleanup from Tony there. That's a tough bogey after the great scramble shot. Just a little low on that putt. Good cleanup there.
On to hole 8, par 4, 546 feet. Got a initial gap to hit to try to get through the fairway, and then you want to start turning something right towards this red basket. From there, you got a tricky upshot to the pin that we're playing, and a tricky green to try and land on. This did play as the second hardest hole on the course during round 2. Lots of trouble to get into off the tee and near the basket.
Yeah, just a really well-designed hole. There's a fairway the whole way, but there's trouble if you make a mistake.
There's the fist bump. 2 holes in a row. Hartford's coming back. He's feeling it. He's trying to make that push going into the back 9 of the second round.
Yeah, he's far from out of it. Just 1 stroke behind the leaders now. Sounded like it got a little bit of a tree, but he seems okay with it. Progressed far enough.
Yeah, this is go time. This hole, second hardest on the course during round 2. 4 players within a stroke of each other on lead card. I mean, this is do or die. You got to try and hit this gap. These shots are real important.
Pulls it a bit, but sneaks through and he's up there in the fairway. He knows he got away with one there.
He said, it was a little inside. I don't know if I quite deserved that, but I'm on the fairway, so I'm just going to forget about how I got there.
Tony trying to bounce back after that bogey. Squeaked it by there. But he's up on the left corner.
Yeah, a little shorter left than he probably wanted, but right now it's don't bleed strokes time. You don't want to get too aggressive on a hole like this. That's how you get yourself into trouble. This is hold on, keep yourself in contention. Don't be the one that makes the mistake and takes yourself out of it.
Certainly, and Caleb's in a tough spot after giving away a stroke to let that frustration go and throw a clean one, and he does just that.
That's great.
Right up there by the red basket.
He's right up there with Hartford.
Yeah, they are in prime position on this one. Oh, catches a tree there.
Got a decent little kick off that tree. It kept advancing down the fairway a little bit. It kind of got a forward left kick, and he's sitting right there on the fairway.
Birdie is out of play, but certainly in position to save the par. Tony having to take a tricky little inside line.
Coming at the catch cam guy.
What a shot there.
That's great. I mean, he was pretty far back there on the fairway. He found his line, and he peered it.
Blind shot to the green, too. He's going to be excited when he walks up there and sees that.
Taylor Strutton, Disc Golf Pastor's got a little bit of a difficult footing and line here. I mean, patent pending, and had to throw like a flex shot. That's, I think, about as best as you're going to do from there.
Yeah.
Caleb with a great drive, looking to match some of those upshots he just saw.
It's still a tricky approach with the slope and hard pan green.
Roll, and now stop. Now you want it to stop. Anytime now, Disc. Anytime.
Still going.
Come on. Anytime now. Did it stop? Okay.
Hopefully it checked up on those logs there.
I think it just got to the 30-foot circle and then drew it. If we'd put some paint on the edge of his disc, we'd have the 30-foot circle.
Hartford there coming in a lot softer. Gonna have a little downhill putt.
Bryan putting up a little
Just
putt approach.
Soft, floaty approach
Some
there.
important putts now here near this green. You really want this one to go in for the score, but also because you don't want to roll away.
Yeah, I've seen a fair amount of 3 putts on this hole,
Especially
or worse.
if you're Hartford looking straight down the hill here. I mean, the basket is sitting the height about where his feet are sitting. Oh, and no problem, though. He drains it. Talk about a pressure putt. One off the lead, looking straight down the hill on that green.
Let's see, is that Taylor hiding in the woods down there, or was that Caleb
That's
coming
Caleb.
back up? Oh,
Yeah. Trying to keep pace. Maybe threw his upshot a little far. Tony taking a good birdie. Putting himself back up there with the leaders. Trying to chase him down.
let's see. Assuming Freeze and Caleb clean up their pars here, we'll have a 4-way tie at the top. Good putt there from Taylor.
Yeah, really not a hole you're too upset with a par on. I mean, second hardest on the course. You're feeling okay about a par here. Moving on to a couple of easier holes right after this.
Yeah, the next one coming up feels like a must-get for these guys. And that is hole 9, par 3, only 238 feet. Kind of across the valley here and slightly uphill, but you got great backstop. Run it right up to the basket here.
And here we go. 4-way tie at the top on lead card here. This is the easiest hole on the course. You need the birdie here. You know you need it. And Hartford says, I'll jump right up there and I'll park it and I'll put pressure on the rest of these 3 guys.
Oh yeah, handled that beautifully. We got Tony looking to follow suit here. Oh, and puts it that much closer.
Tony said, no problem. I got it even closer.
He's handled pressure before. He's an experienced golfer.
All right, here's the pressure. No problem for Bryan either. He puts it well within inside the circle.
Yep, first 3 have handled it well.
Taylor, after seeing those 3 drives, wants to try and match, salvage some good rounds for himself and keep him up that leaderboard. Does just that.
Yeah, he's needed that. Get himself on the board here.
Okay, and now pressure's down to Caleb. He knows the 3 guys he's tied with all parked near the basket, well within inside the circle. He needs to put this close to stay with them.
Well, as long as that sits, it's good.
Yeah. 5 great drives out of the group here. Definitely a hole I think we'd be expecting a star frame out of. Let's see if everybody can keep it clean on the green and make their putts.
Oh yeah, if that's the longest putt, these guys have... Well, Caleb's still got a little bit of a tricky putt with the elevation change. There he goes.
Yeah, they're still taking their time. They know every stroke counts right now. Every putt matters, especially on a green like this. You don't want to make a dumb mistake and cost yourself too much.
Yeah, it might not just be the one stroke of the missed birdie. It's so easy to roll down this hill and get into a lot of trouble.
You can go
but not when you're that close.
Yeah, not when you're reaching out and touching the basket. And looking here, Hartford for his birdie as well. Pressure on, star frame, everybody coming through.
That's
Pressure's
the first
no
time
problem.
seeing that graphic today. Love it.
Here we are after the front 9, do or die. Join us back for the back 9. 4-way tie here going into it. Going to be some great golf.
I'm excited to see how this plays out.